Aura is the energetic bubble that we ride in. And in the human design system, there's 4 aura types. There's the manifester, the generator, the projector, and the reflector. And I'm going to be focusing in on the projector aura today. Aura is essentially, like I said, this energetic bubble. It extends about 2 arm lengths in every direction around you. And it is literally your field of consciousness, It is how your energy goes outwards, and it's also how you become aware of the energy that's coming inwards towards you. It's kind of like your own little personal orbit. And for the projector, the way their aura is shaped is it comes to a point. And so it's really designed for one-on-one interactions with the other. And it goes straight into the G center of whoever is in their focus. And the G center is the center of love, identity, direction, behavior. And so it's very important stuff about that person that the projector is looking into. It's quite an intimate act in that sense. And the projector literally takes their energy in like a straw, right? And is able to really experience the other on a very visceral level. This allows the projector to be potentially a really great guide in seeing and becoming a little wise as they get older, as what energy is what, and how does it flow, in a smooth and in a way that's with less resistance, and what happens when it gets all chaotic. And so ideally, the empowered projector is going to help guide the energy so there's less resistance for everybody. But in order for the projector to really have the opportunity to be that guide, they have to learn, their strategy. And this is really, the key to making this projector aura run smoothly, and it's waiting for the invitation. Every strategy in the human design system is rooted in waiting, and it is key. Human design is really about, learning how to operate from a place of form consciousness instead of the mind. And so in order to do that, we really got to give ourselves a chance to be that observer and learn to wait, sit down and shut up and stop initiating, are really the first steps. And like, how do I start experimenting with my design? And for the projector, there can be this real feeling of neediness, of the other, because we're designed, to work with the other, but we don't have a very large energetic footprint most of the time. We lack a sacral center, which is, that, motor of life force, and so we're constantly kind of plugging into other people's energy. And, we can kind of be invisible sometimes, and this can really make us feel a little bitter and unrecognized, and, teach some really bad habits, and trying to, attract any attention, is better than no attention kind of thing. That's also an open throat center mechanic, but for the projector, there's this extra layer of, it's like we don't have a sacral center, and so we're really looking for, where can I plug in and get energy? Because if I don't have the energy, I feel like I'm dying. And that's, unfortunately kind of the cosmic joke on us, is that we're perfectly fine without being plugged into the sacral center. We just get conditioned into feeling like we need it. And so this deconditioning process of, it's like, how do we get rid of all this stuff that isn't us and really start becoming empowered in who we are, it starts in this strategy of waiting for the invitation. And the invitation can look like anything. That's where the vigilance of, really taking this experiment seriously, if it's correct for you, and paying attention to the energy around you, what's happening inside of you. We're here to be in a receptive state, to be an observer. It's about passenger consciousness. And so this strategy is about, how do you learn to let the body lead the way? Waiting for the invitation can look like a lot of different things. Sometimes it's an actual invitation, that shows up. But the majority of the time, it's going to be these more subtle energetic openings where you realize all of a sudden you're sitting in a group of people, and the conversation kind of stops, and it's landed in your feet, So you have the invitation to speak, even though somebody didn't actually say, would you like to speak? And this is where experimenting and getting in touch with, when is it that I'm actually feeling recognized and invited? And when am I feeling needy and pushy? And because the neediness and the pushiness is always going to come from the mind, and the strategy of waiting for the invitation, it only works if the projector is recognized. So the projector has to be seen. And unfortunately for most projectors, they surround themselves with people who, they might like them, but they don't really see them for who they are. And that can create a lot of bitterness. It's always coming back down to surrendering to the body, surrendering to the natural timing. And it's not about believing this, it's about experimenting and figuring out if this is true or not. Just watch your mind. What kind of trouble does it get you into? And what happens when you relax in the body? And I invite you guys to really experiment with, what is it like to sit down and shut up and just learn to wait for the invitation. The projector aura, we take in the other on a really deep level, and so we get conditioned easily depending on who we're around. It's like, we're eating their energy all day long. We go straight into the G center and we take their energy. And so while on one hand this is, working perfectly, it's how we're designed, it's one of the reasons we're good guides and we can see. On the other hand, it's like we become lost in everybody else's shit. And so one of the ways that you can kind of decondition a little bit is just learning to let yourself sleep in your own aura if you're able to. Sleep alone. Go to bed before you're exhausted. The projector does not have this sacral center like generators where they can just go, 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 go. If you go past that point of enough is enough, you're going to wake up with half your tank. So it's wear and tear on the body. And you don't want to be running your tank on empty all the time. So just learn to disengage, know when enough is enough. And when it comes to sleeping in your own aura at night, it's a huge gift you can give yourself, waking up as yourself, instead of waking up as a we. So this invitation thing is really this lifetime, pursuit of figuring out, energy mechanics, and you need to be recognized. You need to be seen for who you are. It's not about just taking any invitation. You're going to end up, really absorbing and taking in a lot of energy that's not good for you. Just end up in situations that, don't do you any good. If you're not recognized for who you are, you don't really have the opportunity to get that feeling of success, and that is what is really important for the projector. When we're feeling bitter, when we're feeling, not seen and unrecognized, those are very important signposts to pay attention and start, maybe looking at what's not working. What are you engaging in? What are you committing in, that is dragging you down? And learn to be the observer. So that's what it's really all about. Stop initiating from the mind, wait for the invitation, make sure when you get the invitation that you're seen and recognized for who you are. And you'll move from this frequency of bitterness and resistance to being in the flow and feeling success. And it's not about your life becoming magically perfect and everything getting fixed and now I'm just on this bliss ride, but it's learning how to navigate no matter what the situation comes, difficult, easy, fun, sad, using this tool of strategy enables you to be able to navigate those situations consistently so you can empower yourselves to go your own way. Remember to always bring it back down to the real, gifts that this system has given us, and that is going to be your strategy and authority.